All right, guys, welcome back to CryptoJiri. Today, we're going to be talking a lot about the Bitcoin price, as well as great news, and also how to protect your crypto from cybersecurity attackers. All right, guys. So, if you guys could see, Bitcoin did drop all the way to 8,100, like we talked about yesterday, and it went all the way back up to 9,200, right about there. And there's a big resistance on the newest breakpoint right there, which is not really a good sign for the short term, but for the long term, if you guys could tell, right, we're almost a couple days away from the Bitcoin halving, which I think will basically get us from, the 8,000 mark. It could go back down to 7,000, around 6,000, which I'm not really surprised. But on the long term, I'd say we are a bullish head start, which is also a good thing. So if we take a look on the first news of the day, the problem with money is too much privacy, says ex-U.S. Treasury Secretary Summers. As he says, right, which I don't think is very, of course, he worked for the U.S. Treasury. I don't really agree with this guy, but let's take it here from him. Former U.S. Treasury Secretary Lawrence Summers said there may be too much privacy associated with the government-issued cash, noting the prevalence of money laundering and its widespread use for storing and moving the proceeds from corruption. Yeah, you're not wrong, Lawrence Summers, but that's why there's cash, right? That's why there's Bitcoin. That's why there's cryptocurrencies. And I don't know why he's saying this, even though most of the corruption is in the government as well as in politicians. So the reason why they're doing this is because they're just trying to make us more, like, they're just trying to basically not give us as much privacy for us to become slaves of the state, which is not cool. I really don't agree with this, but let's see what he's saying. He states that I think the problems we have now with money involve too much privacy. Summers said in an appearance at CoinDesk Consensus distributed virtual conference on Monday, in a world of inordinate tax invasion, trillions of dollars of laundered money around corruption and the drug trade, the last objective of government policy should be the promotion of anonymity with respect to large financial transactions. So he's basically saying that all the, tax evasions and all the trillions of dollars that they lost were from drug trade, which is not true. Most of it is lost in charities as well as in, funding the government as well as funding, the military. So that's not true. And the last objective of government policy should be promotion of anonymity with respect to large financial. So he's basically saying, like, hey, if you don't have money in your pockets, then we're still going to be watching you. But hey, if you have money in your pockets and you want to pay us, then we won't watch you. That's basically what he's trying to say. While many people in the cryptocurrency community and elsewhere are concerned that the digitization of money and elimination of physical cash would result in Etheruem surveillance state, which they're literally trying to do, it's not just a concern, it's reality, right? We've seen it back in the early 2000s of how, there are a lot of leaks where they would literally track us and all that stuff. And, back in 9/11, they even said, oh, I know it's against our constitution and our laws to basically say, oh, to track you, to search you and all that stuff. But we're going to put this just because, the terrorists that George Bush sent out to do this for us. And they still haven't, 20 years later, they still haven't taken that law off because people forgot about it. And, I don't know why, but they're not caring about their privacy or the state, which is crazy in my opinion. So yeah, that's basically what he's saying, of course, which a lot of people don't honestly agree with him. Me personally, I do not. I really do hate these kind of people, but hey, what you can do, everyone has their own voice. Another news, which is good for the Ethereum people out there. Vitalik Buterin says much delayed Ethereum 2.0 still on track for July launch, which is a good thing. Right, a lot of you guys may know that Ethereum 2.0 protocol upgrade Moving consensus mechanism to proof of stake, POS, is very interesting, very inspirational because of how Bitcoin is on proof of stake. The reason why he's moving out of it is stated in this little paragraph right here. But the Ethereum community started talking about replacing the proof of work system, which is based on work done by miners and also employed by the Bitcoin protocol, with POS almost as soon as the network launched back in 2015. Right? This will include well-known techniques like sharding, which effectively divides consensus into small groups to speed up verification times, as well as new scaling solutions currently in testing. One is a layer 2 solution, optimistic rollup that would theoretically scale to over 1,000 transactions per second. That's insane, guys. When you think about that, no human in the whole world can do that. No bank can do that. It has to be this, POS, POW, blockchain protocol. That's just insane. No one could wrap their head around that number in a second. Even in Ethereum's existing iteration, according to Buterin. So Buterin is basically saying Ethereum is the fastest, but he's making it even faster, as well as trying to implement it into other currencies as well as industries. Ethereum 2.0 could go live around July, right? As we expected. He's 80 to 90% sure. So we'll see. Quarter 3. So great things from Ethereum, guys. So if we move on to how to protect your crypto from cyber attacks during COVID, that's very interesting how they just put COVID there. You should be always protecting your crypto from any time of the year, the month, the day. But so let's see what they're trying to say. The 1997 indie horror movie Cube posted a dystopic future where unwilling prisoners are systematically dismembered by a high-tech prison. The SARS-CoV-2 pandemic has created an environment for a similar virtualized dismemberment of our digital assets and our personal data security, right? Again, a lot of people are saying this because of what the government is trying to do, not just in the U.S., but also they're trying to become China. They're trying to be basically watch us every single move that we do, as well as trying to see what we're trying to buy and what we're trying to sell. And, it's just, that's not good at all. Right? Hackers are socially engineering their way into financial systems and financial accounts, while intention efforts to promote public safety are fostering prospective abrogations of personal data privacy. At the same time, there are new areas of business opportunity for distributed ledger companies emerging from the crisis. So of course there's a good thing and a bad thing, but when you think about it, you're trusting, right, the financial systems to keep your money safe in your bank accounts. Right, people do get their credit cards hacked, people do get their debit cards hacked, and the only way that actually happens is, people in the banks get phished, right? A lot of people may not know what phishing means, but you basically get an email, you click a link, and then they're already in your computer. That's the main effect from those type of things, which is kind of sad, right? Trojan malware. So you're trusting people who are literally clicking links with your money. It's unbelievable. That's why I do believe you should watch your money, save your money, and just be your own bank, right? Not trust someone who came out of high school or is high school working in a bank clicking links for no fucking reason. So another good but also bad news. In Europe, the game changer retail digital currency, now European central banks focus. So what they're basically trying to do, again, right, we see it in New Zealand, we've seen it in China, Australia, as well as in the US. Every single central bank is trying to make their own digital currency. And the reason why is they're trying to do that is because they're printing money and nothing's backed by money anymore. So they're trying to get their own debt out of the way to basically make their own new currency, right? So let's see what he's trying to say. The European Central Bank (ECB) is looking into what a retail central bank digital currency (CBDC) form of the euro might look like. Executive member Yves Mersch said. Group expects to publish a preliminary report. So basically, they're just beta testing with it, like how China's doing as of right now. A wholesale CBDC restricted to a limited group of financial counterparties would be largely business as usual, Merch said. However, a retail CBDC accessible to all would be a game changer to a retail CBDC is now our main focus. So I would remember what he said right there. Just remember that, guys, because we'll come back to what he's quoted. So again, some argue that a token-based digital currency might be a guaranteed complete anonymity, which is true because banks work for the government, so there's no anonymity over there. If that proved to be the case, it could be inevitable raise social, political, and legal issues. Look at China; they're a really good example. He said we are currently looking into the legal questions raised by the potential use of intermediaries to facilitate the circulation of CBDC and also the processing of transactions in a CBDC. So basically what that basically meant is they're trying to figure out if they could make laws to work around that privacy, which they will, trust me. They've done it already in other cases. So again, remember what he said right here, okay? Let's keep reading. While electronic payments are already crowded out in the use of cash in some countries whose currencies seem less attractive than the euro, there is no such trend away from cash in the euro area. He says some 76% of all transactions in the euro area are carried out in cash, amounting to more than half of the total value of all payments. Interesting. So if you remember what he said, he's saying here that this will be a game changer from cash, right? But he's saying that people use more than cash. But the reason why they're trying to do this is so that they could track people's how much they make, how much they're spending, where their savings are, right? They're trying to not give us privacy at all. And then he also, of course, said if households were able to convert commercial bank deposits to CBDC at a rate to 1-to-1, they may find it far more attractive to hold a risk-free CBDC rather than bank deposits. He said during a systematic banking crisis, this could trigger digital bank runs of unprecedented speed and scale. Well, yeah, because if you give the citizens no options but to use the central bank's currency, then, of course, it's going to go boom up in price. Magnifying the effects of such a crisis. So, again, a guy that doesn't know what he's talking about, literally all the banks in the world are just trying to monitor us, which I do understand in a terrorist form, but again, you can't track and do everything. That's just illegal as well as impossible. So, yeah, guys, that's the news of the day. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Again, have a good day and keep howling, guys.